last night on The Bachelorette.
The show's finally here, and it's called The Golden Bachelor.
I married my high school sweetheart, Tony, in 1972. We had 43 wonderful years together. We had 2 daughters, and I now have 2 wonderful granddaughters. And so I took my wife to the emergency room on July 7th. She passed away on July 15th. It will be 6 years since she passed away, but the love of my daughters and my granddaughters pulled me out of a dark spot.
Where are the babes you're looking for?
I don't know that they've even been chosen yet. I have passed the STD test and the drug test.
Best case scenario is I find out that Helen Mirren's on the market and she's really happy to be on The Golden Bachelor.
Welcome to this recap of the Golden Bachelor promo episode featuring the Men Tell-All. Or as someone recently once told me, more like the Bachelorette Men Yell-All, am I right? A night we're graced with every season where Jesse Palmer always seems to tout,
All of your favorite men from charity season are back.
You sure about that? You sure about that?
but you know what? At least men like Brayden and Xavier actually had the balls to show up. Unlike Warwick, who probably wasn't there because he fell asleep backstage. So after a brief recap of some of the drama from this season, it's time for the men to start talking at each other. And of course, this night is going to be centered around one man, which makes sense because the drama this season was also centered around one man, Brayden. And the biggest gripe that people like John had with Brayden was that Brayden kept stealing crucial time away from those who really needed it, even when he was already gone from the season.
You want to pretend like I came and like gypped your conversation, like, bro, you were making out with her. I waited for you to wipe the makeup off your face before I even let my presence be known, dude.
They then start a grand debate over Brayden's biggest problem from the season, whether or not you should be okay with watching another man kiss Charity for 5 minutes on a group date. To which Jesse probably has the most reasonable and educated response.
I know obviously that was a very tough date for those that were there to have to watch that. You're not the only ones. I mean, Yosef has a daughter at home.
Okay, our memes have infiltrated the show and I don't know how I feel about it.
Brayden, you were saying all along, you were being real and everybody else was being fake.
I mean, it's not that they were being fake. I guess their realness is just different than mine, I guess.
How so?
Now that's some word talk if I ever heard it. But what we're getting at here is Brayden's comment about people being real or not, including Charity, who he said he wished could have turned off being the Bachelorette. Now Brayden says what he meant by that was turning off the TV filter. Like even here, people don't know if they can cuss or not, so they hold back. Whereas if they were at home, they would freely be saying whatever. Then Adrian comes in and counters with, well, if we aren't the real ones, why did you keep saying one thing to us and another to her? Like when you called Charity classless.
I never called her classless. That's not something I said. So don't put that word in my mouth.
I wouldn't have made it up.
Well, you did.
Do we have the tape or not?
We don't, bro. Because it didn't happen.
Well, apparently production searched for the tapes and came up empty, so, you know, if it doesn't fit...
You must acquit.
But the Brayden show is far from over, as more people chime in to point out Brayden disrespecting everyone and how he was ready to pack his bags like 15 times.
I don't know, man.
His biggest problem is that he was too honest and he's got weird earrings. Like, I mean, I don't see how that's that big of an issue.
Thank you, Ascot Man. Now, Brayden then says he was shocked about a lot of this as no one really talked about it to his face. A lot of it he had to learn from watching at home. And at this point, normally I'd go, who am I gonna believe? One dude or everyone else? But then, as things move on into a bit of the Sean drama and Peter chimes in...
Hold on, real quick. Who the heck even are you?
Peter, nice to meet you.
Oh, wait, you were the dude! He's back!
Well, Caleb here is so excited to see Peter for a reason no one but the guys know. Well, no one that is, except the guys and Jesse Palmer, who at this point asks Peter to share his story after being eliminated night 1.
After the season wrapped, we had a cast Zoom call. Long story short, 15 or 16 of the guys at the end of their headshots put the initials P after their post.
Now, Brayden was the one who went to Peter to tell him what it meant, which was F Peter. And here are some of the posts, including ones from Sean, Aaron, and even Brayden himself. But what blew my mind here is how these dudes start defending themselves.
It was just an inside joke. Nobody would have known it was against Peter if, you know, this guy, like, shared it. So
what in the backwards ass thinking is that? Your Honor, nobody would have known what I did if I hadn't been caught. So can we just let it go?
I had no idea I was rubbing people the wrong way. Why would you put that online? I've never done anything to you personally.
Bitch.
I've never done anything to your family.
Your Honor, the victim kind of deserved it, so can we just let it go?
You sit down right next to me and you look at the camera and you look at me, you look at the camera and you open your body up, make sure the camera's getting you at the right angle, and you go, so who do you think is here for the wrong reasons? And I'm like, I don't know, you maybe.
Your Honor, I was suspicious of him, so can we just let it go?
I remember you laughing and saying, thanks for putting me on the map. I'll make a t-shirt out of it.
And monetize it.
Your Honor, I only did it because I'm projecting and want to do the same thing as him, so can we just let it go already? Also, Caleb, 5 seconds ago you were asking who this man was and acting like you just remembered him. Now all of a sudden you've got receipts on everything he did? Trash. Trash. Trash, trash, trash. And I don't care if this guy also acted like trash night one, doesn't mean you start up some covert cyberbullying campaign. If he's got dirty laundry, then air it out. Don't pull this middle school BS. Also, Xavier is just, I mean, his peacemaker response is something else.
I'm sorry for putting that on my page. I thought it was an inside joke and it was wrong. At the end of the day, all these guys will speak to my character. I'm a good guy. And I made a mistake.
Yeah, Peter, I'm sorry. I never thought you'd find out, and if you ask all the other guys who bullied you, they'll tell you I'm a great guy, so thank you. So anyways, all of a sudden the word of one man over all these other dudes is not so hard to take. And speaking of Brayden...
But wait! There's more!
As yes, he is the first man to get a hot seat segment, something that starts with a recap of his elimination.
If she wants to reach out to me, I'm here.
All right, did Charity ever reach out to you, by the way?
No, she didn't.
Not surprised.
Dang, Brayden's even getting roasted by Jesse. Now, once again, this segment with Brayden devolves into the same old drama, where really, this is the only new takeaway once they get back into why Brayden returned to the show after being eliminated.
Right. I didn't care about taking away your time, to be honest. I didn't care about taking away anyone else's time. I cared about apologizing to someone I hurt, that I was pursuing a relationship with.
They then talk about Brayden's earrings, which have apparently inspired this guy in the audience, and Brayden even gives some to Jesse Palmer himself, a bribe that Jesse Palmer accepts, and so he announces we'll be seeing Brayden in paradise, and shows us a clip of him making out with Kat from Zach's season. Which means we're now on to the second of... actually, only 2 hot seat segments we'll see tonight. This time with Xavier to go over his train wreck of a fantasy suite. Now Xavier obviously came into this tell-all prepped. Like, pretty much right off the bat, he tells us he's going to therapy and he knows he stuck his foot in his mouth. But you know, with Xavier, it's not always gonna be a perfect response.
I think what kind of like made me kind of snap and stick my foot in my mouth was one of my biggest fears is for love to not be reciprocated.
Says the man who confessed to cheating and having trouble not looking at other women on vacation. But Xavier says that fear came bubbling up when he told Charity he was falling in love with her at Hometowns and he didn't hear it back. Well, now at this point they bring out Charity to address the men. Here, Brayden apologizes for how he spoke about their relationship to the other guys, and Sean just barges up on stage to get his own hot seat segment. A moment that had me going,
No, off. Huh? Off the couch. Off the couch.
And after all the men are done applauding Charity for her grace and kindness and whatever they think will help them get a spot in paradise, we turn to Xavier. So again, prepped for this, Xavier immediately goes,
So one thing I want to say is like I denounce cheating. I don't think you should ever cheat, and if you have a problem in your relationship, you should focus on making it better.
But Charity too has prepped for this moment, coming out guns a-blazing, saying he was very clearly not ready for a full commitment, despite being a week out from an engagement, and she wished he had told her everything from that night at Fantasy Suites back at Hometowns.
Obviously, we're talking about like your infidelity and like what that meant. You were saying, I don't want to cheat on you. Well, instead of saying, I don't want to cheat, I won't cheat on you. Like, it's like...
Then to say, I love you, after the whole dinner debacle?
And it's like, that's the timing that you decide to just throw out, I love you. Saying I love you is not going to turn around the situation. You said what you said, and it's like, what the is going on.
But Xavier basically says he only put that out there because he knew he was going to be sent home and wanted to put out his feelings instead of leaving without saying it. He then finishes by saying that his comments of seeing more at the end of their fantasy suite date was actually about him wanting to see if there was more potential for a full commitment and not to have sex in the fantasy suite. He then says goodbye with a knitted rose. So there you have it, that's the end of the tell-all. Well, at least as far as I'm concerned. I mean, they pull out Captain Tom, they have a segment with some of the former Bachelorettes, there are bloopers, but it's all mostly just filler, and wait a minute, I'm hearing Gerry the Golden Bachelor is here, and they've got clips?
You can't be laughing, you gotta have a straight face. Well, don't make it look like you're gonna cry.
I guess the first thing I'm worried about is remembering 25 names. Eunice, will you accept this rose?
Okay, y'all, in this bit, I cried, I laughed, and all in the same minute. This man seems like a saint, and if production ever did anything to mess with him, we ride at dawn. Honestly, my whole tell-all experience can be summed up like...
Get the key that's taped in the back of that picture. It opens up my bottom desk drawer, and there are some files. Pay attention. Where are you looking? Look here. Focus here.
So, after some sage advice from Gerry...
Look at your spouse every day and tell them you love them. Because the day comes too soon for one of you that you can't do that.
Ugh, I'm gonna be a mess after this season, aren't I? Well, after that, and a preview of the finale, this episode is officially over. And if this tell-all taught me anything, it's... never trust a man under 72. So that's it for this recap of the Men Tell-All. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed the video, make sure to give it a like, comment your thoughts down below, and subscribe to the channel for more content. And until next time, Bachelor Fantake out.
All right, did Charity ever reach out to you, by the way?
No, she didn't.
Not surprised.